Alrighty, you are looking live at sold out MetLife Stadium where today the 16-0 and playoff bound New York Giants are taking on the 0-16 Philadelphia Eagles. And why are the Philadelphia Eagles 0-16? Because they suck. They got smoked in the first round of the playoffs by the Buccaneers 32-9 because they suck. The Philadelphia Eagles suck. Welcome to the Gridiron. Anybody out there at all is going to spend a little bit of time with me here this evening, I greatly appreciate it. Thank you. Or if anybody's going to spend time watching the replay this once again, thank you so much. From the bottom of my heart, means the world to me. Going to try to go about 30 minutes here tonight. Shoot my mouth off for about 30 minutes. Anybody got anything to say, please feel free to fire away, throw it in the chat box. Usually try to check on the chat box. Yeah, look, every 5 or 10 minutes. As soon as I see something in there, I try to respond to it as fast as I can. So please feel free to fire away. But plus also, instead of me just rambling on for half an hour, 45 minutes, or whatever it might wind up being, it's just nice to talk to another Giant fan. So please feel free, once again, fire away. Before I get started, if anybody wants to help support my channel out, it would mean the absolute world to me. In the very top of the description box, top link in the description box takes you to my membership page. I got 3 different membership levels. The first one's called Saquon, second one's called the Lawrence Taylor, and the third membership level I got is called the Gridiron. Each one's got their own little perks to them, so if you want to help support my channel out, it would mean so much to me. I thank you in advance. If you are subscribed to my channel, once again, thank you. I could use all the support I can get, guys. But if not, please go down below, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell icon. That way, next time I go live or if I put a video out, you'll be notified. And it's free of charge. What do you got to lose, right? But if you are subscribed to my channel, thank you. Hold on. Time out. I'm going to move the chair for my buddy Manny. Hold on there. Back up. All right, Manny's here. Okay, we can continue. It's too freaking much. He waits for me to start talking, then he comes over. It's unbelievable, just like clockwork. I'll tell you what. And then finally, also, a little farther down, there's 2 additional links. The top one's a Facebook link, which I'll go over in just a second. The one underneath it, I'm an old-time fart, so the link underneath it, it's Twitter. I'm an old-time fart. I hate change and all that. It's Twitter. It's always been Twitter. It's Twitter today. It'll be Twitter tomorrow. 3 trillion years from now, when I'm long gone, it'll be Twitter. Whatever letter of the alphabet Elon Musk wants to call it, that's on you, bro. I'm calling it Twitter. It's Twitter, right? I put Giants-related stuff in there every day. So if you follow me on Twitter, I'll follow you back. That's an absolute promise. And then the link just above it takes you to my Facebook group. It's doing simply marvelous, might I add. It's called the New York Giants, the Gridiron. It's a Facebook group that I got. We have over 7,700 members in the group. If I'm live and breathing, if I have internet access, I'm putting stuff in this group darn near 365. And not only do I put stuff in there, members post stuff in there as well. So between me and the members, right, there's a ton of New York Giants information going in this group every day. It's called the New York Giants, the Gridiron. It's a Facebook group. Please join it. You won't be dissatisfied. I promise. I don't know what stuff said and done and that away with. Well, let's see. What do we have to talk about today? Well, we got a little Saquon going on, a little Daniel Jones. Let's see what else we got here. Hold on here. We got a few different things going on here, right? A couple of free agents we got, but let's start off here with the Giants having the worst. Man, you start looking at it, it's like some of these teams, it's like the Giants have the worst record in the NFC over the past 10 years. And I'll tell you what, man, you start looking at it and it's like, man, somehow, even like the Commanders even have a better record than we. It's like, how the f is that possible? Wow. The Giants are 61, 104, and 1 over the last 10 years. My goodness, that's just straight up trash. Straight up trash. Even the Bears have 63 wins. We have 61. The Commanders have 64 wins. the Commanders, the Bears, and the Giants were the only three that were in the 60s. Everybody else has got at least 73 wins. Carolina has at least 73 wins. The Cardinals have 75 wins. Even the Lions have 76 wins. The Falcons with 77. I mean, my God. The Packers, they are the best over the past 10 years. I mean, I'll tell you what, you go back. I mean, this just goes back over the past 10 years. But, I mean, you start thinking, right? And you start going, I mean, actually, you can darn near go back like straight up like almost 30 years, right? Because you got Favre, Nugent, Aaron Rodgers, and J. Love now with special sauce. I mean, we got, I mean, Love, not going to say he's going to be a Rodgers or a Favre Nugent, but, he took them pretty far this year. He took them pretty far. I mean, they did pretty darn good in those playoffs, though. They had a chance. But just kind of like the Lions, right? But I mean, the Packers. I mean, you get the quarterback, you got a good chance. You got a good chance of being good. And over the past 10 years, the Packers have the best record in the oh, there we go. 108 wins. Now, I mean, they darn near almost have twice as many wins as the Giants. The Giants have 61 wins. If you double the Giants' wins, the Giants would have 122. The Packers have 108. I mean, geez. I mean, isn't any wonder? I mean, you got with Pete Carroll, the Seahawks were second. They have 105 wins. The Cowboys have 101. The Saints, and you got to remember Drew Brees was there, right? Saints have 98 wins. What do we got there? The Eagles have 99 wins. Let's see, the Vikings, even the Vikings, 94 wins. The Rams have 94 wins. And you figure, I mean, as good as the 49ers have been, the 49ers have 87 wins. So, but I mean, the Giants, 61 wins. I think this article doesn't have it though. No, it doesn't. But I think the Jets might be the worst in the AFC. I'm not exactly sure on that one. But the Giants with 61 wins. I mean, let's see here. New York Giants records. I'm trying to. I mean, because I know I'm going to have. I think I have a list of their records. Here we go. Okay. Because I know, obviously, in the 70s, they were absolutely atrocious. Now, if you go from like 71 to 80, right, that would be 10 years. 71, 72, 73, 74, 75. Yeah, that would be 10 years. The Giants in those years there, 71 to 80, they had 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 21, 24, 29, 35, 35, 41, 41, 45. So they had 45 wins from 1971 to 1980. They had one winning season, right? They had 40, what did I say, 45 wins, right? Let's go over this again. From 71 to 80, right? That's 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 21, 24, 29, 35, 41, 45 wins. That's 45 wins. So, I mean, they have had worse periods of time. But if you start going back, I mean, back in the 30s, the Giants were very good. They were very good. In most of the 40s, up to 46, they went to the last championship game. Then the Eagles started coming a power, 47, 48, 49. So the Giants, came back around 50. Then the 50, 51, they were okay. 52, 53, that's where kind of like low points. 53 was a low point for them. And when Jimmy Lee Howell took over in 54, from 54 to 60, they're pretty much a pretty good team. They had a couple rough seasons in the 60s, but from 71 to 80, I mean, the 45 wins in 10 years. That's average of 4.5 wins a season. Now you also got to figure too, all right, that the Giants, a little bit of this Giants here, where they had the 61 wins, but the past couple seasons or so, right, we've had 17 games. We played 17 games, right? So that'll add an extra, so we're from 71 to 80, the Giants only had 45 wins, and here they had the last 10 seasons, they had 61, right? But you might be adding in an extra win or two because now the 17 games. Now, also the fact too is that from 71 to 80, right? 71, 72, 73, 74, 75, 76, and 77. All right. They only played 14 games. So 7 of those 10 seasons there, they weren't playing 16 games, only played 14. So maybe out of those 7 seasons, say the Giants might have got maybe another, because they were not good. Say they got out of those 7 seasons, they would have played 14 more games. Say they would have had, say, 5 or 6 more wins. Just say 6, 5 or 5. That would have gave them 50 wins. So if they played 16 games from 71 to 80, they might have wound up with maybe 49 or 50 wins. As where here they're still at 61. So I mean, you can see that. You think it was bad. It's bad, and there's nothing right. Yeah, I tell you that. This past 10 years or so has been pretty bad. Well, well, I mean, you go from what is that? From 14 to 23, right? 2014 to 2023, the last 10 seasons, they had 61 wins. So I mean, you figure, and that has 2 playoff appearances in there. Right, so they had 2 winning seasons, right? Back from 71 to 80, they had 1 winning season. They had 8-6 in 1972. Other than that, everything was a losing season. There was no playoff wins. No playoff appearance. They didn't get a playoff appearance until 81. They had a shot in 1970, which was the year before 71, obviously. They had a shot. They were 9-4 going into the final game of the season against the Rams at home, Yankee Stadium, right? Giants win the game. They win the division, go in the playoffs. Woo! Everything's great, baby, right? But, of course, they get one. And the Giants go up 3-0 on a Pete Goldblatt field goal. Everybody's holding hands, singing Kumbaya. Here we go, playoffs. And no, then the Rams wind up winning 31-3. So, but from 71 to 80, that's when I grew up. My first season I remember watching football was 1970, right? Actually, the second game ever I remember watching was the Ram game, the Giants and the Rams. The first game I ever remember watching was the game before that when the Giants went to St. Louis because the Cardinals used to play in St. Louis. The Giants won. It was 34-17, and that put them at 9-4, right? But after that, I thought after the 70 season, the Giants were 9-5. It's, hey, they're going to build, so they'll be good again in 71, right? We'll probably be right back in the playoff hunt. No, 4-10, 4-10. 72 somehow they bounced back to be 8-6, and then after that, took a dumper, right? They had 2 back-to-back 2-win seasons. 73, 74, 75, I think they had 5 wins. 76, they had 3 wins. I mean, just horrible, absolute trash. I mean, and their offense was even worse. I mean, the Giants averaged one of those, I think it was 76 might have been, I think Giants averaged like 12 points a game. I mean, a couple of those seasons, I think 70, Giants actually averaged like 12 points a game. I mean, that's tough football. Really tough football. When you average a touchdown, a field goal, and a safety per game, I mean, that's tough football to watch. Really tough football to watch. But so, as bad as it's been, right, with the Giants over these past 10 seasons, and we've all struggled mightily. Don't get me wrong. Let's not forget. So we've had a couple winning seasons, and we did go to 2 playoff appearances, and we actually, which is not very comforting when you're talking about 10 seasons and you. Coming off of Eli Manning and all of that, 2 Super Bowl wins and all that, you expect, some success out of that. And of course, the past 10 seasons hasn't been there. But at least we've had a couple playoff appearances. But so even as bad as it's been over these past 10 seasons, the 61 wins is still far superior than the 71 to 80 era. I mean, there was only 1 winning season. 71 to 80. Okay, that was in 72. And there was no playoff appearances, obviously, no playoff wins, nothing. So you had 9 out of 10 seasons were losing seasons. And I mean, they weren't even close. I mean, like 6-10. I mean, if you take the 8-6, if you take the 72 season out, right? Just take it, right? Get rid of it. You take that season out. The best record we had was, I think we were 6-10. I think it was. Let's go over here. Oh, no, that ain't it. It's here someplace. There we go. All right, 71. Here we go. Right. Let's see that they won in 1971. They got 4 wins. 72, they got the 8 wins. So 8-6. So just take that season, put that season aside, right? 73 and 74, they had back-to-back 2-win seasons. 75, they had 5. 76, they had 3. 77, they were 5 and 9. 78, they were 6 and 10. 78 and 79, they were 6 and 10. 6 and 10 and 6 and 10. But let's not forget, 78 and 78's first year they started with the 16-game schedule. So if you take the 16, if you put it back, they had 6 wins, 78, 6 wins in 79. But if you only give them 14 games, let's see what they do in the final 2 games of the 78 season here. Well, 2 games of the 78 season, they won 1, they lost 1, right? So, I mean, at the rate that they were going on the 14-game schedule, they would have won 5 games in 1978. And 1979, let's see, what they got? Oh, they lost them both. They lost 29-20 to the Cardinals, and they lost 31-7 to the Colts. Oh, my God. Goes to show you. See, the Giants here had, when they lost 31-7 to the Colts, they had 32 passing yards. Absolutely unbelievable. 32 freaking passing yards. Absolute trash. But, so as bad as it's been, it was worse in the 70s. From 71 to 80 was the worst stretch of 10-year football for the Giants. Without question. 45 wins in 10 seasons. They averaged 4.5 wins a season. They said, as you look at, it said in this article here that we got, hold on here. Article here is what we got. Who is this? Who did this article here? Giants Wire. So we got the Giants Wire. Who did it? They got a John Finelli did it. Giants Wire. It says Giants are the NFC's worst team. So over the past 10 seasons, the Giants averaged 6.1 wins per season. Okay, which once again is far better than the 4.5 we averaged. Says, if it seems like the Giants have been bad the past decade, there's nothing wrong with your eyesight. I love it. After a 6-11 finish in 2023, they officially had the NFC's worst record over the past 10 seasons, including the playoffs. The Giants do not, however, own the worst record in the NFL over that period. That distinction belongs to the Jets, who only have 55 wins. So the Giants have 6 more wins than the Jets do. But you look at it, I mean, how bad does it have to be for both New York teams to have just the worst records? I mean, that's a straight up slap in the face. We can't find a winning team with either team. Now, also, that kind of goes pretty much the same way as was like with the Jets back then. The Jets were absolutely atrocious from 70 to 79. 80, they went to the playoffs, I believe. But let's look at the Jets. From 70 to 79, the Jets, I don't think, had a winning season. I know 72, they were 7-7. Let's see here. New York Jets records. Now, I mean, growing up in New York and all that stuff, in the 70s, the Giants, because I remember 70 was my first season. The Jets were 4-10 in 70, I believe it was. I don't think they had a winning record in the 70s, the Jets. 1980, I know they went to the playoffs and they lost to the Bills. I think it was 80 or 81. Nope, my bad, 81. My bad, I do apologize. 80, they were 4-12. So from 70, yep. Actually, from 70 to 80, they did not have a winning season. They were 4-10, then they were 6-8, then they were 7-7 in 72. Namath had a very good season in 72. very good season passing the ball. Their defense stunk though. But 73, the Jets were 4-10. Then they were 7-7. They were 3-11, 3-11, 3. They had 3 straight 3-11 seasons. Then they were 8-8, 8-8, 4-12. So the Jets from 70 to 80 were not a very good team. They did not have a winning record from 70 to 80. So between the Giants and the Jets, from basically from 71 to 80, right? Those 10 seasons for each team, there was only one winning season. 1972 Giants were 8-6. So that was some tough times. Those 10 seasons for both the Giants and the Jets were like the worst ever, especially for both teams. But let's see here. And the Jaguars were 57 and 111 than the Giants. So the Giants have the third worst record overall in the NFL. The Giants, however, have the worst record in the NFC. Over the past decade, the Giants have finished fourth in the NFC East 3 times, third 5 times, and second twice. New York is selected in the top 10 in the NFL draft in 6 of the last 10 seasons. That's freaking pathetic. And will select 6th overall in this year's draft. Absolutely horrible. Absolutely horrible. The only one thing you can think of and maybe hope and be happy about, blah, 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 and all that stuff, is that, hopefully the bad times are over. Hopefully, somewhere along the line, we'll have something to be happy, excited about, Let's hope. I mean, because it's been brutal. It's really been brutal. One of the things that would really help would be, obviously, if we could stay healthy. That gives you a shot. If you don't have the greatest team in the world and you have nothing but injuries, it's just, that makes it very difficult. Very difficult. All right. The Giants now, they have 2. All right. Of the top 50 free agents. Now, of course, we can all figure that out who this is. ESPN ranks 2 Giants among the top 50 pending free agents. Now, interestingly enough, at the end of this article, something else pops up, and I was kind of like, wow. I'll get to that in just a second. Just it was a little bit of an eye-opener. It says the new league year and the official start of free agency are just around the corner, and that will mark a busy time for NFL teams. Absolutely. That's why you love it, because you got the NFL that the season kind of ends like in January. Then you got the Super Bowl, but you got the Super Bowl, then you got in February and the Combine, and then you got in March, you got the beginning of the new year. You got free agency rolling that around. Then, of course, in April, you got the draft, and then you got the mini camps and all of that. It's like each month there's something going. There's a little something for us each month, which kind of takes you almost up to the new season, right? You got that little lull from whatever it is, from like mid-June to middle July, right, when training camp officially starts. So you got that little, I got about a month off or so. It was almost like nothing going on. But each month, January, February, March, April, May, you got little stuff going on, right? Free agency is always at frenzy, and the New York Giants will likely be quite active this year. They have multiple in-house free agents they must make decisions on and then determine what positional needs to address prior to the 2024 NFL Draft. Well, they ain't got much money, let me tell you that much. ESPN recently took a look at the free agent pool and determined the 50 best players available. Among them were 2 Giants. First up is running back Saquon Barkley. You got that right. Whom ESPN had ranked number 27 overall. That's fair. Barkley has the traits to produce in any pro system thanks to his ability to hit home runs. He's a true lead back, a volume player who has amassed 288 receptions and 47 total touchdowns over 6 pro seasons. And he tied for 9th this season in runs for 10-plus yards with 26. But while he is averaging 98.8 scrimmage yards per game over his career, he has played only 2 full seasons since being drafted number 2 in 2018. Now, you also kind of, you start looking, it's like, man, and this is, of course, something you can always just woulda, coulda, woulda, shoulda, what would have, is if you take Saquon and you plop him up and you put him down on the San Francisco 49ers. You take Christian McCaffrey, you pick him up and plop him down on the New York Giants. Right? How's Christian McCaffrey going to do? Probably not too good. How's Saquon going to do? Well, probably better than he is with the Giants. You know what I mean? So it's sometimes it's, sometimes it's, how good the team is around you, right? And how good has the team been around Saquon Barkley? Not too good. Not too good, might I add. Barkley was the most obvious choice, and next up isn't much of a surprise either. It's safety Xavier McKinney at number 34 overall. He's a versatile safety with the ability to cover down the post range that NFL teams covet and the ball skills to produce takeaways. McKinney had 3 interceptions this season, and he has 9 picks and 14 pass breakups in his 4 pro seasons. And this was interesting too. I can't argue with that. And the thing is, with Xavier is, I don't think there's any way at all. The Giants are bringing him back. Especially, it just sounds like he's kind of going after like home run money. He wants that big time payday. I don't know if somebody's going to be dishing out 16, 17, 18 or whatever it is, $1 million a year for him, but there are teams out there that have money. Somebody might want to, pick him up. I don't think it's going to be the Giants. Even if somehow he only gets like 15 from the Giants for $15 million, and they can all. They would have to make it so his first year salary, it can only be like 6, 7, 8 million, somewhere around there, And the Giants have so many other needs. They have, maybe Belton back there. They got Javarius Owens. They got a couple other guys. Let's not forget about Penei. Let's not also forget we got the draft coming up, right? The Giants have 7 relatively nice picks, right? So even if they picked, Javarius Owens was a late 3rd round pick, not a 3rd round pick, day 3 pick last season. He didn't really, produce all that much. Maybe this season he might get a little bit better. Let's hope, right? But the Giants can certainly do something like that as well. Get a safety in the, 4th round, 3rd round, 4th, 5th. I would be surprised if they took one in the 1st or 2nd round. I'd be kind of surprised even if they took one in the 3rd round. But they could. I would be, to add a little bit of depth back there in maybe the 4th, 5th round, somewhere around there, 6th round, right? But I don't think that they're going to be breaking the bank for Xavier McKinney. I think he's a goner. It's unfortunate. It's just the way it is with today's NFL. He just, you want to draft well and keep your guys, and all that stuff and everything, but you can't keep everybody. They drafted Sexy Dexy. Well, they're keeping him. Well, it's costing them some money. They drafted Andrew Thomas. Well, he's doing pretty good. Yeah, it's costing them some money. They drafted Daniel Jones. Now you can say he's doing good, not doing good, whatever you want to say, but it costs them some money, right? They drafted Saquon Barkley. It's a shame. That's the only thing I don't like about the NFL. Well, not the only thing I don't like about the NFL. There's quite a few things I don't like about the NFL, but the one thing I don't like about it is that, especially if you draft well, it's very difficult to keep your players, keep all your players, especially when the second contract rolls around, they want to get the big time bucks. It's like you can only keep so many of the guys, especially if you've been drafting well. Or sometimes in the Giants' case, maybe drafting well, but also drafting early too. Drafting in the top 10. Now, of course, Xavier wasn't an early pick. Well, he was a 2nd round pick, but he wasn't a top 10 pick or nothing like that. But as I said, the thing I don't like is that it's tough to keep all of your guys, all of your early picks, especially if they're doing good. Because once they also don't want to get paid. You can't keep everybody, and I don't like that about the NFL. It's like it's like you're almost, if you pick too good, in some instances, it's like you're punished, because you can't afford to keep all your players, and I don't like that. And as I said, and the other thing I don't like is that because once the salary cap goes up, everybody's salaries go up. It's like if the salary cap goes up, like say, just throwing a number out there, like $50 million in one season. Because say it's 250, right? The next season is some big time TV revenue coming in or whatever, and all of a sudden the salary cap goes up to $300 million the next year. Well, guess what? Now, the good starting guards that were only making whatever $15 million, now all of a sudden, boom, they're up to $22 million. Why? Well, because the salary cap just shut up. You know what I mean? So if the salary cap goes up to $1 trillion, I know it's not going to, but work with me here, right? If it goes up to $1 trillion, guess what? Next season, the best punter in the league will be making about $150 million a year. It's just, there'll never, ever, ever be a time where it's like the salary cap just goes up and you can go out and you can just start, you can sign all your own guys, and bring in some free agents because you can afford to spend $20-25 million on every position. It's not going to happen. As soon as the salary cap goes up, there goes everybody's salary. You know what I mean? And that's, of course, that's the way the NFL wants it. They want the parity. They want a lot of things, and parity is one of them. They want you, if you're bad one year, they want you to be able to be 4-13 one year, and the next year with free agency and all this, you can be 13-4 the next year. Then after you can't afford to pay everybody the next year, then you're back to 4-13. Right? They want that parity. That I don't like that. I don't like it where you can't keep your guys. It makes it kind of tough. Makes it kind of tough to keep your guys. But the other thing was I saw it was in here was not only was Saquon Barkley, Xavier McKinney in the top 50, but and after I read this, it kind of made a little bit of sense. He has a lot of tread taken off his tires, but former Giant defensive lineman Leonard Williams, who was traded to the Seahawks midseason, also made the list. He was ranked higher than both Barkley and McKinney at number 16 overall. Now you start thinking, and I'm thinking, it's like, man, he's number 16 overall. Really? Yeah. But you think about it, I mean, as far as being ranked maybe higher than Saquon and Xavier McKinney, right? Now, if you look at Saquon, I mean, because we all know the running backs just getting a bad rap, right? It's like their value is just in the tank. It's like, you get my grandmom to run the ball in the backfield. Just throw her a pass every now and then, make her happy. You don't need a running back, right? It's a passing league, right? So we know how devalued the running backs are. So I can, in one respect, see how Leonard Williams, even he's, a few years older than Saquon. He's played far more snaps than Saquon has, right? But I can see where he'd be more valuable because he's against the run, rush the passer, right? An interior defensive lineman isn't as valuable, obviously, as an edge rusher, right? But the interior defensive line is probably more valuable than a running back is. Then you look at Xavier McKinney. Safeties are maybe not once again as valuable as maybe I guess the interior, right? But I mean, Xavier McKinney is a nice safety. He's not Troy Polamalu. He's not a Ronnie Lott. He's not Ed Reed. He's not one of those guys. He's a nice safety. Nice. But the problem is, he might have a little bit of some eye-opening going on. It's like, man, nobody wants to pay me $18 million a year. Yeah, really? Yeah. Well, very interesting to see where he goes. I wish the guy nothing but the best. Absolutely nothing but the best. And I probably should apologize. Not that he listens to this or anything like that, but I should probably apologize because I thought, he was maybe opening his mouth up a little too much this past season when he was saying like, I don't think, I don't think the captains are being heard or something like that. So I think he did right. you look back at it, I think he did right. I thought at the time he was maybe shooting his mouth off a little bit, but I think maybe him coming out and saying something like that, I think might have been the right move. So hey, I wish him all the best. There's only guys like maybe an Eli Apple or a Kadarius Toney. If they fell off the face of the earth, I could care less. I don't really care. But guys who've been with the Giants, right? They've cried, they've bled, they're Giants through and through for their short career here or there or whatever like that. I wish him nothing but the best. I hope he gets all the money in the world, and I wish, except when he plays against the Giants, wherever he goes, I hope he does fantastic. And I hope he has a phenomenal career. Right. But, be interesting to see if he winds up getting, how much money he winds up getting. Because once again, obviously if you're a scale of 1 to 10, you got to give the guy, about a 7, somewhere around there. Once again, we're not talking Hall of Fame material, right, or anything like that. He's a nice safety. So I can certainly see where Leonard Williams, once again, would be maybe on ESPN's list, maybe more valuable than one of those guys. Now, I don't think the Giants should be going after Orlando Williams. I think they're going to try to maybe get a little bit younger. The Giants they have to start. Hopefully they get maybe bring Oshane back. That would be fantastic. But they need they need a lot. They need another edge rusher. They got to get another good interior defensive lineman. They got a couple linebackers. Maybe a later on pick. Maybe we can hopefully find something for Isaiah Simmons. Hey, who the heck knows? Maybe they can freaking find a place for Isaiah Simmons in the secondary. Who knows? He's a little bit light to be. What am I talking about, Isaiah? He's a free agent as well too. Hopefully we can bring him back, but he may not be that cheap either. So I'll have to wait and see. But it'll be a shame if you trade away a 7th-round pick to bring Isaiah Simmons in for half the season or 3/4 of the season or whatever it was, and then you just want to let him go. So I'll have to wait and see. But so the Giants have 2 of the top 50 free agents, and Xavier McKinney ain't coming back. And hopefully we can do something with Saquon. I said, if worst comes to worst, right? They go to Saquon. It's at Saquon here. Here's the. I know couldn't work out a deal. Right, if this winds up happening, here's the tag. Sign the tag. Right, where do you want to go? Right, give us 5 names, 5 teams, 6, whatever. Where do you want to go? Right, we'll pick the phone up, try to get this done before the draft. Right, so you trade Saquon away. Right, maybe the new team can work up a deal. Right, make Saquon happy. Obviously, that's got to be one of the stipulations. Hey, we want Saquon. We want something in return, but he wants a deal. These are the numbers. He wants something comparable to that. Can you give him something comparable to that? Right. Then maybe whoever it is, which I'm going to go over in just a minute, interesting, can maybe work with something like that, right? Work out a deal. Giants get maybe 3rd rounder in return or something like that. They ain't getting a 1st. 2nd, I don't know. Well, they got a 2nd for Leonard Williams, so maybe they can get a 2nd for Saquon. I can't see a 1st. Maybe a 2nd would be freaking awesome. Even a 3rd would be really nice. You get another pick in the top 100. Wow, that's really good. And especially if you get if you get a 3rd-round pick from this team coming up, which is Harbaugh. Might have Saquon on his radar. So I'm saying, if you get a 3rd-round pick from the Chargers, that's an early 3rd-round pick. So you're looking at like pick number 70, somewhere around there. You get like pick 70 in the NFL draft for Saquon. Okay. Wow. Once again, I'd be bummed out if Saquon winds up leaving. But Harbaugh. Let's see here. Saquon Barkley is at top of Jim Harbaugh's Chargers list, says Ryan Leaf. Very interesting. All right. Saquon Barkley could have a new suitor on the West Coast. Now, I'm going to go over something here in a minute. It's going to make this kind of like, I can't see how it could possibly happen. But the two-time Pro Bowler, who is an unrestricted free agent this offseason after spending 6 seasons with the Giants, may be a target for the new Chargers head coach, Jim Harbaugh, according to Harbaugh's former teammate, Ryan Leaf. Austin Ekeler is a big part of what it could be with them running the football, but I do think that Saquon Barkley is going to be at the top of Harbaugh's list in terms of what he wants to do with the running back position with him being a free agent, Leaf said Friday on Good Morning Football. Barkley's relationship with the Giants soured last offseason when he initially refused to sign the team's franchise tag in hopes that he'd be getting a contract extension, eventually giving in and signing a $10.1 million guaranteed deal on the tag. I think they could franchise tag him again. I know that's a lot of money, but it's something I know that Jim Harbaugh wants to do. He wants to run the football, and that's what he wanted to do. Man, that's what he did that, when he was with, let's not forget, right, when he was with the 49ers. I remember with the 49ers, man, they had some funky formations just to run the ball. Like they'd have they'd have the center, and they'd have a guard and a tackle, right? Center, guard, and a tackle. And then on the other line of scrimmage, they'd have a guard, they'd have a tackle, and then they might have like 3 tight ends, right? They have the quarterback, so what was that, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and maybe like 1 wide receiver or something like that, right? Spread somebody out wide. Say you have the guard and the tackle, and you have a wide receiver out wide, right? But over here on the other side, I said you'd have like you have the center, and then you have like 5 guys on this other side over here, blockers for just have some funky formations that they'd run the ball out of, but he just likes to run the ball. I mean, you think of Michigan, are they chuck and duck offense? No, they like to run the ball. That's what he liked to do, right? Bill Parcells, he liked to run the ball. Some guys just like to run the ball, control the ball. Right, so Saquon certainly could be at the top of Jim Harbaugh's list. Let's see here. I think they could franchise tag him again, but I know that Jim Harbaugh wants to run the football. He wants to use those guys down the field with play action, which is huge. Which is work well for the Giants, obviously, but you have to be able to run the football, right? When they can run the football successfully, right? That's and maybe especially with Daniel Jones, and you got Saquon in the backfield, especially Saquon's got to be back there. You get the ball, right? You're looking like all you got to do is freeze those linebackers or whoever's in the box for just maybe a split second or so. Give the guys running their routes an extra, split second, an extra 1 or 2 steps going full speed. Because let's not forget, right? The wide receivers, they're going full speed, obviously, forward. Well, the guys in the box, right? They don't got their back to the line of scrimmage. As soon as the ball snaps, and they're taking off running down the field trying to cover the wide receivers. No, they're in the box looking at the quarterback, maybe trying to hand the ball off to the running back. So they're pausing for just a second. Then it's like, play action. Now they either got to back pedal or turn around. Meanwhile, I said you got the wide receivers, going full speed. That give them an extra split second or so. Sometimes that's all you need. That's why the play action can be so, really a fantastic play. But you got to be able to run the ball. You not only got to be able to run the ball, but you got to have the right guys in the backfield. Okay. However, Barkley is likely to demand a sizable contract, and this is something I'm reading this, and it's like Ryan Leaf's kind of like it's on Harbaugh's list and all that stuff, and I'm like let me just shut up and read this. Barkley's going to want a sizable contract. And that's something the Chargers don't have the money to spend, and they don't. I'm going to go. The Justin Herbert-led squad is over $45 million over the cap. After a playoff berth in 2022, the Chargers collapsed last year following an injury to Herbert, finishing 5-12 and fourth in the AFC West. Barkley, the 2018 Rookie of the Year, totaled 962 yards and 6 touchdowns on the ground last season, while adding 280 yards and 4 touchdowns in the air. Let's not forget. So if he didn't get injured, he missed like 3 games or so. If he didn't get injured in the Cardinal game, he would have had over 1,000 yards rushing. The Chargers have the number 5 pick in the upcoming draft and look set to bounce back after a disappointing season with the Herbert and Harbaugh at the helm, the 2 H's. It's going to be a team. Think of a family, Harbaugh said in a recent team hype video. There's going to be igniters. There's going to be leaders by example. That's mostly what I do. We're going to attack them with an enthusiasm unknown to mankind. And this is where I want to be, nowhere else. No, I'm sure. No. Yeah, that's where I want to be, nowhere else. Not only because, because I think he's getting paid $16 million a season. That might help too, right? But, I mean, if you look, I mean, they have like 4 guys here who are set, the cap number set this season to make over $30 million. 4 guys. So we got what? Between Khalil Mack and Joey Bosa, they're set to make almost $75 million this season. And then you have Keenan Allen, who's supposed to make 34. So between Keenan Allen, Bosa, and Mack, there's like $110 million between 3 guys. Then you throw Mike Williams in there, and there's over $140 million between 4 guys. Then you throw in Derwin James, Justin Herbert, and Corey Linsley, their center. I think he's a center. Those 7 guys are due to make almost $200 million in salary this season. I mean, let's see. Let's see where we got. So I go to Spot Track because I can read this a little bit easier. I mean, Spot Track has them $44 million over the cap. Adjusted salary cap, they think, is going to be around 250. Their top 51 guys are due to get paid $294 million. So they got to get rid of, they got to, just to break even, they got to get rid of like $44 million. And I don't even know if that includes them with their draft class. I mean, it's just, yeah. I mean, if they got to clear even more. I mean, and that pick 5, he's going to pick 5 in the draft. I think is like $7 or $8 million a season, and then they got all their other picks. I mean, basically between pick 5 and their early 2nd round pick, that's almost $10 million a season they got to come up with. So I mean, they got to dump some salary big time. I mean, holy cow! Whoever came up with this, I mean, this is ridiculous. Their cap hit this year, Khalil Mack, $38.5 million. Joey Bosa. They're 2 outside linebackers as they're right here. Almost $75 million between their 2 outside linebackers. I mean, it is. It's over $75 million for the 2 outside linebackers. I mean, if they get rid of Khalil Mack, they'll save themselves like $23 million. I don't think they're getting rid of Joey Bosa. But if they get rid of Keenan Allen, they'll save themselves like $23 million. They get rid of Mike Williams. I mean, they're good wide receivers. But, I mean, they'll save them $20 million. They get rid of him. They're lucky. Justin Herbert's, his contract only calls for $19.3 million this season. So they're lucky. But, I mean, they got to get rid of some big time just to break even. So I don't, let me tell you what, Harbaugh is not walking into it. I mean, they got some decent players, right? And I'm sure he'll get the best out of them. I'm not saying they're going to be world beaters this season because they have to jettison some players. They got to jettison some salary cap, But I think give Harbaugh a couple seasons. He'll between the draft and start bringing his own players and all that. And once they start getting the salary cap under control a little bit better and everything, look for the Chargers to maybe start making some noise because they got the quarterback. Is he Justin Herbert? No, I'm just he is Justin. Is he a Patrick Mahomes? No, but is he a very good quarterback? Yeah. Unfortunately, it's a shame he got injured. Because once he got injured, their chances were especially because their coach stunk. He was not a very good coach. But the Harbaugh will turn things around. But as far as Saquon going there and getting a 10, 12, $13 million a year contract when they have to jettison like $45 million in cap space just to come back to break even, I don't know about that. I'm sure Saquon's high on Harbaugh's list, but does he have the money to bring him in? I don't know about that. But then at point all might be mute anyway because, the Giants might work out a deal with him. That might work out a deal. End of this month, the 26th, 27th, to look for Shane and Saquon's representatives to meet, right, at the Combine. I think the Combine's the 27th, but if Shane gets there early and they're I don't see if Shane will probably get there early, Saquon's representatives might get there early too. So instead of trying to, when Shane's trying to look at, the 40 times and this guy and that guy and all that stuff and everything, maybe they meet a day or so early and do a little bit of talk and see if they can work something out. Right. So maybe might work something out. But in the long term for the Giants, if they're going to keep Saquon, I think I think be imperative that they sign him to a 3-year deal where we can get out after 2 seasons, but get his cap hit down this season, get like $4, $5, $6 million. That's something they can afford, right? But what the Giants have as far as salary cap going into the season, even if they get rid of some money and all that, they're going to straight up pay Saquon like $12 million on the tag, and then you figure you got to throw in probably another maybe $10 million, if not more, for their draft class, and then maybe to bring in a couple other free agents or so. I don't know if they can afford to straight up tag them again, So I mean, they would have to sign him to maybe like a 3-year deal where they can get out after 2, but get his cap hit this season coming up the 2024 season, where he's only getting paid like maybe, his cap hit will only be like maybe $5-6 million. I think that's something they can afford. And then finally, we got Joe Shane. He seems to think Daniel Jones, everybody's favorite quarterback, might be ready. He's hopeful. He'll be ready by the time we go to camp. Now, Daniel Jones, he's working his butt off. That you do know. That's a guaranteed lock. Now, if he's going to be the starting quarterback going forward, if he's going to be this, if he's going to be that, you don't know. But one thing you do know is Daniel Jones is going to be, he's going to do everything he can, that he's in there, right, as soon as humanly possible, taking snaps on the center. He's going to do everything he possibly can. And Joe Shane is, has high hopes that he'll be ready. Says the Giants quarterback Daniel Jones bottomed out this past season. Not only did Jones regress from a career best season in 2022, but he also suffered the second major neck injury of his career and then suffered a torn ACL in Week 9. The underperformance and injuries have rekindled calls for the Giants to select a top quarterback in the 2024 NFL draft. Now, wouldn't it be interesting? Because last time they had pick 6, what did they do? They picked Daniel Jones, a quarterback. Now, once again, they have pick 6. Wouldn't that be funny if they want to draft another quarterback, right? So the underperformance and injuries have rekindled the calls, right? But that's something General Manager Joe Shane has refused to commit to. Although Shane admits it's necessary to address the quarterback situation this offseason, they have to do something. Because once minicamp starts, you need at least 3 quarterbacks in there. If they're not bringing back Tyrod Taylor, Daniel Jones ain't going to be ready by May, mini camps, right? So they got Tommy Chicken Cutlet Parmesan. That's the only one quarterback they got. They need to have at least probably 3 quarterbacks. So they're going to need to get at least another couple quarterbacks in there. 2, if not 3, right? Due to Jones' injuries and the team's lacking depth, he remains open to all positions and possibilities with the Giants' first-round pick. Meanwhile, Shane has been encouraged by Jones' recovery. He's doing well. He's running in the pool now, so he's progressed to that. Shane told Sirius XM NFL radio on Thursday. He's in there every day working hard. And you knew that. You knew he was doing everything humanly possible to get back as soon as he can. Again, I've said it multiple times. He's a kid. You're going to have to pull back because sometimes he's just doing too much. He's in there with our early morning workout people. He's in there by 6:30. He's already getting his workout in every day, so he's going to work hard at it. Shane has repeatedly stated that Jones will be penciled in as the team starter once he returns to the field. And while initial hope was that DJ could return by week 1, the third-year GM is now hopeful to have his quarterback on the field by the start of training camp in July. Holy frickin' cow. Wow. We're hoping that he'll be ready to go once camp starts, Shane added. If Jones were able to return in time for camp, it would be a miraculous recovery. It would be just shy of 9 months removed from his torn ACL, which seems a bit pie in the sky. Either way, Shane is becoming more and more optimistic about Jones's return by the day. I mean, it's just crazy. Really, as I said, there's no denying that. You know that Daniel Jones is going to do everything in his power. It's just like when he got that $40 million contract. I mean, he's in there all the time. Like one of the first ones in, last ones to leave. That you knew we're going to have. Was it going to translate into the field? Yeah, we saw it. Yeah, he still has some issues, especially when every time he snaps the ball, there's 37 defensive linemen getting ready to rip his head off. You know what I mean? He's if he doesn't feel comfortable in the pocket or, whatever, he's staring down his targets, gets the ball, locks in on a receiver. Come on, turn around. I'm staring at you. Come on. Okay. Here it comes, buddy. It's coming. Like we saw in the Seattle game. The pick 6 going back the other way. There it goes. All the way for a touchdown for the Seahawks. Hey. Right? So he's got some issues. But you do know, without question, you know he's going to do everything he possibly can to get back as soon as possible as he can. I mean, that is Shane was saying there. He's somebody you might have to, Daniel. Usually you don't have to say that to somebody. As far as, maybe players and stuff like that, hey, you're doing good, blah, blah, blah. But, with Daniel, it's like, whoa, let's back off a little, But the thing is that like with an ACL, they always, obviously it's just simply amazing the recoveries of these guys, but you have to put the time in, you have to put the work in, you have to have the work ethic and all that stuff, right? But it's amazing the timeline. It just seems like it's just like shrinking. It was used to be a year, and then it's like 11 months. Everybody's different though too. Everybody, but now it's like 9 months. It's like it's amazing how fast these guys can come back. But they also say too is that a lot of times that first season, right, coming back, you're not quite going to be 100%, right? Sometimes it's not till the second season that you're that you're as good, if not better. I've heard that before. If not better than you were before, right, with the ACL. So, this year, even though he might come back and hey, man, miraculous recovery and all that, but don't expect him to be quite possibly 100% of what he could be. The problem is that, if we do draft the quarterback, right, and you got the quarterback controversy going on, and if Daniel Jones ain't going to be 100% as good as he possibly can until 2025, well, it might be a little too late for him by then, because if I'm just saying if, right, the Giants were to draft somebody, a quarterback, right, and if they, have some type of, competition, and if the new quarterback winds up winning, Daniel Jones, might be trying to go in there and battling against the new quarterback, and he can't go 100% just because the new ACL won't the injury, won't permit him to do it. He may not be fully 100% until the next season. Well, then when the next season rolls around, for the Giants to save some money, they might have to cut Daniel Jones, because they can get out after he's on the team for 2024. Write it in stone, folks. They can get out after 2024. So they would have like a $20 million dead cap hit in 2025, but they'd also save about $20 million. So after this season, they could cut him, The problem is that it said, when 2025 rolls around, if he goes to another team, that's when he might be fully healed and healthy and ready to rock and roll. But it is what it is. But yeah, got a long way to go. Is one of those three quarterbacks going to land to the Giants at number 6? And even if they do the Giants still want that? Do they want one of those tackles? Do they want to finally get themselves a number 1 wide receiver? Right? If Daniel Jones back there, if you got Slayton, if you get Hyatt, let's not forget about Wan'Dale Robinson. Maybe take one of those 2 or 3 wide receivers there, right? That'd be pretty good. But also, I said, it's not we're not going to the Super Bowl after this season. However we draft and all that's not happening, right? It's going to be another couple seasons. We're building, but let's not forget. I mean, Daniel Bellinger, he seemed like he took a little step back. His blocking was not quite as good. He was not obviously effective in the passing game. We did have Waller, but he seems like he took a little bit of a step back. But is he somebody that you can work with and build going forward? I think so. So it's not, in the passing game anyway. What did have the Giants done? They brought in Daniel Bellinger. Okay, they drafted him, a decent tight end. Maybe not your number 1 if we ever let go of Waller, but a complimentary piece. Somebody, who can. He's got to be. I think he seemed like he took a little step back this past season in the blocking. Let's hope we can get a little bit better there. But let's not forget, a couple of seasons ago, what did we got, right? We brought in Wan'Dale Robinson. He's not a dog, but we brought in Wan'Dale Robinson, right? We got Slayton for this season. Maybe we can bring back Hodgins, right? But what did we do last season? We brought in Hyatt, right? So we got, so each year we're adding little pieces to the puzzle, right? We got Wan'Dale Robinson. We saw, he's not doing too bad, right? Especially if he can stay healthy. Then we got Jalen Hyatt, right? I know we got Slayton this season, but then we bring in a dog of a wide receiver. Then you look at three seasons, the 3 drafts. I got Hyatt, we brought in Robinson, and maybe we get one of those dog wide receivers at pick 6, right? Add little pieces to the puzzle. I mean, you start looking at what I'm not saying we're the 49ers, not like that, but you look at the 49ers. Right, what they did with the Skittle man when they got Ayuk, when they put Deebo Samuel, it's like all different years. And then they traded for McCaffrey. One year they got I forgot the years. But one year was like Deebo Samuels, and next year was the Skittle man. The Skittle man was not a 1st-round pick, right? Then they got Ayuk, and then they traded for McCaffrey. So each year, a little something, a little something, a little something, a little something. So, hey, we're going to the Super Bowl. I'm not saying the Giants going to the Super Bowl, but I'm saying, it's a project. We're rebuilding, right? So let's each year keep adding a little bit more pieces to the puzzle. So if the Giants don't take a quarterback, maybe they'll take one of those wide receivers. And that would, whoever our quarterback is, if we can get a dog of a wide receiver, that would certainly help. All right, guys, been 1 hour and 3 minutes of me shooting my mouth off. Whoever spent any time listening to me live, thank you. Or if anybody's going to spend any time watching a replay of this, once again, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. It means the world to me. As always, you guys stay safe out there and go Giants. Woo!